Welcome to the second instructional video on how to play the board game Moscow Auction. This video is going to concentrate on the movement of the two different game pieces. In our previous video, we've set up the game board. We've distributed 35 million rubles to each player or player team. We've separated the cards into their respective color families, and we've separated the privatization cards and the black market cards, putting the black market cards on its space. Privatization cards will not be used in this version of the game, and 100 million rubles have been put in the old commie bank. The auctioneer is in the Auctioneer's Airport, and the KGB is parked in front of KGB headquarters, and now we're ready to move and progress with. In order to start the play of the game, we're going to use the red and the white die. The red die represents the first number, first digit of the number, and the white represents a second. So this die would be 68. This one would be 32. I'll show you another one just as an example. So this would be 45, always reading the red die first. So let's just go with 45. So 45 will be the first property that's coming up for sale. The auctioneer who just rolled the dice is going to move directly to property number 45. Sometimes it's helpful for everybody to help figure out where property 45 is. And here's 43, 48. 45 is the auto plan. So the auctioneer is going to fly directly to that property. The auctioneer is going to be in charge of the auction. Everybody is going to be able to bid on that property. The KGB is going to move by the red die. Whatever the number is on the red die is how many spaces the KGB is able to move. The KGB is required to move along the street squares. Each section counts as one move. And so in this case, he has 4 moves. He has a couple of choices. One choice would be to go to the location of that property. You'll see a number on the street with the first number of any property. So if it's a 3-number property, just the first number, in this case 45, will be on the street. A single number property like the bread exchange right next door just has that particular number, in this case 48. So choice 1 would be for the KGB to be able to get to this property. Has to do it in 4 in this case, whatever the red die is. Looks unlikely we're going to be able to get there. Another choice the KGB has is to backing up. If the KGB is able to get to the property location, he can steal the commission from the auctioneer. When the auctioneer sells the property, he's entitled to a commission of however many million rubles times how many numbers are on the property. In this case, the commission would be 3 million rubles. So the KGB's second choice would be to get to a black market spot on the board. And again, he's required to move by just whatever the red die says. So there's a couple different ways to move. He can just strictly count spaces along the board. No way he's going to be able to reach that. Possibly he can get to one of these black market cards. So we're on this square now. We have to get exactly to a place in 4. So 1, 2, that's 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he can move to this black market spot, for example. So by getting to a black market spot, he has a choice of either taking a card from the black market pile. Probably about 80% of these are good things where you're going to make money or have other positive consequences. 20% of them are negative consequences where you probably lose some money. Or he can just take simply 1 million rubles from the old commie bank. The other thing to think about when the KGB moves is you'll notice circles that have an M throughout the board. These are metro stations, and this helps the KGB move rapidly around the board. So he can duck into any metro station and come up in any other metro station. So let's just say, for example, if the KGB was in this spot and was trying to get to this black market, he could go 1, that's 1. He could come up in this metro space, that's 2, 3, 4. Oops, we still didn't make it. Let's say he was already on the metro. That would work. So then he could come up in this metro 1, 2, 3, 4. Just as an example. In this case, he was here, and we're going to travel to this black market space. It's the KGB's option to choose either a card or 1 million rubles.